Today is a different day, and it's May, and it's Friday, and I'm currently working my way through Will Sanghvi's food writings. It's called Rude Food, and this is a book that explores, well, it doesn't explore anything. This is a book that's a collection of his food writing essays, and I think one of the main strengths of this book, given that it's coming from quite a snobbish and very particularly well-refined man who loves food, one of the things it does really well is kind of teach you how to find really good food, what really good food means for people who do this for a living. And this is like delicacies or like how to even cook specific foods. I feel like the author is very passionate about cooking and getting the most out of the flavors of the food. So it really shows you how well tasted he is. Like, he has really good refined tastes. He has a global palate and there's no limit to what he can stomach. So it's a quite an eye-opening book, and also allows you to become more empathetic, and not just empathetic but also curious about different flavors. Obviously I'm not that adventurous about food, but it's really interesting to see how he does his like pairings for food, or even the advice he gives. For example, like I'm reading about salmon, and he says wild salmon is better eaten on its own or with a slice of lemon on the side, like just for the acidity, because pairing wild salmon, smoked wild salmon, is quite a difficult thing. I mean, obviously traditionally people use what do they use, like bread to have salmon. So it's always quite interesting to see that he has a different perspective on how to eat salmon. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this book, so I'm going to continue reading it, and we'll see after some time. I'll just update you. I think I'm just going to do like 3 articles because there's so much information that I really would love to obviously write down and make notes on, and also just learn how to approach fine dining or eating at restaurants, and what to look for according to him, and maybe try and see what that means, if he's right or not. I mean, isn't that wonderful? So yeah, this is a book that's quite interesting. It's non-fiction. It's articles that are collected in a volume, and it's by Penguin. It's Will Sanghvi, Rude Food. Amazing. If you're a human who eats, I mean, everyone eats, but if you really love trying out foods, restaurants, this book could be quite insightful, and also give you like some really great restaurant recommendations, even though some of them might be closed by now because this is quite an old collection of food writings. Yeah, so I'll see you later. Bye. so tired. I told myself that I was gonna like sit at the desk and do just a little bit of work, but I ended up just working for quite a long time actually. So I didn't even read. I was sitting down and reading earlier from the novels and novelist book, and also like finishing up on the notes that I had to take from the Sanghvi root food book. But now I sat down at the desk and I just went off. And it was nice. I mean, I fixed quite a lot of things that I had to do. So now I think I'm just gonna go to bed because tomorrow I want to wake up a bit earlier. So right now I have my iPad on me. I'm gonna read in bed until I go to sleep. And I usually read, I'm currently reading Corinne or Italy in bed. But then I started reading it on my commute. So now I'm reading both that and this is another weird book. Like, I haven't talked about this one, so I'll talk about it later. But yeah, so for now, just know that I'm also trying to be committed to reading Corinne or Italy by Madame de Stael in bed, and then also another random book that I picked up from my library. So I'll see you tomorrow. Otherwise, good night. So yeah, bye. This is Saturday and I am reading the history of Latvia, a short history, a brief history of Latvia. And basically I challenged myself to read this book throughout today, and I'm kind of really working towards it, but I think I can only do like another 30 more pages because just reading something that spans centuries within like a day sounds ridiculous now that I'm actually doing it. Obviously, I really enjoy this book, and it made me have a small detour where I went and looked at another book that I had read earlier this year, maybe last year actually. I had finished this book last year towards the end of the year, and it is Cromarama by Riccardo Falcinelli. It's a book translated from Italian to English, and the translator really does a great job of still making sure that the book is lyrically beautiful. I always find Italian very beautiful language, so any book that's translated from Italian to English should always match the vibe of the original language. So for this Cromarama book, the reason why I read it is because it's published in Latvia. That's like such a random like thing. Although it's a penguin, it's still published in Latvia, and so like it was just an easy thing for me to digress or divert or take a break through. So I read I reread the Bovary chapter, the Blue Bovary, the Madame Bovary, the complex analysis of the color blue, its origins, its significance in history, its symbolic nature, or the way it's used as a motif in Madame Bovary, and why sometimes if you haven't been exposed to this factor as a useful thing, you might actually miss it out when you're reading the actual narrative, the book Madame Bovary by Flaubert. So I just went again and reread that chapter and made a few notes. And then in the process, I also got distracted by the paintings that are described in the book, especially some of the paintings that the publishers tend to use. Well, I think this is something of an old thing, so I don't think publishers do this anymore. But some publishers have used images of rich aristocratic women painted during this period, and they have used them as covers for the book Madame Bovary, which is really the opposite of what the book is about. Although you can also argue that they are also trying to symbolize the ideal that Emma was trying to reach and couldn't, even though she technically tried to become more refined by reading. She also forgot that living was so important, so she started this fantasy like slipping down the slope of fantastical world with no morality. And so yeah, I think that's my little digression. I should probably stop yapping so much and actually read my book. But today's Saturday, so I did go to a bookstore. What did I get? Let me just share what I got. I got this book by Daphne du Maurier. It's not the popular book, Rebecca, because in my humble opinion, you should never read the greatest work of an author as your first book by that author, because it sets too high of expectations. So you'd really start to have a mindset that has this ceiling that then crumbles when you read like earlier works or less popular works that have not been popularized by either their impact or their storytelling or anything like that. So for me, I picked Daphne du Maurier's The Glass Blowers, which is it's partly apparently based on her family history, and it's a novel that spans 100 years. So this is like East of Eden kind of book, or let's see, no, actually I can't say that because I haven't read East of Eden. So this is a book that just spans a whole generations of family. So it's a family saga. So, and also the cover is quite beautiful if you look closely. Let's get that. Okay. So yeah, that's what I got today, and it was only like €5. Obviously, there is advertisement at the back for other of her works. That is The House on the Strand, Rebecca, by the same author. So this is an early publication actually, but it's in a good state, so I'll be able to read this. Anyway, that's it for now. I am going to continue reading my book on Latvia history. Hopefully I'll be able to get through at least 20 or 30 more pages in the next few hours, because history is such a I'm so proud of myself for finishing. Actually, I'm already past the amount of reading I had done before and stopped reading this book, so that's good for me. Okay, see you later. Bye.